Hey folks, I'm Tennessee Brando with the MeidasTouch Network. So Donald Trump did a town hall meeting and Sean Hannity asked him point blank if he really intended to be a dictator. He said the left is accusing you of this. They're saying that if you get reelected, you want to be a dictator. So can you assure the American people that if you're reelected, you're not going to be a dictator? And Trump's answer was no, but on day one. On day one, I will be, because I'm going to secure the border and I'm going to drill. Well, Hannity tries to circle back. You can see Hannity gets uncomfortable here. And he says, but you wouldn't try to abuse your power, would you? And he said, you mean like they did to me?
They want to call you a dictator. You use the words, I am your retribution. And now before that, you said if you've been wronged, and you used other words as well. But I want to be very, very clear on this. To be clear, do you in any way have any plans whatsoever, if reelected president, to abuse power, to break the law, to use the government to go after people?
You mean like they're using right now? So, in the history of our country, what's happened to us, again, has never happened before. Over nonsense, over nothing, made up charges. I often say Al Capone, he was one of the greatest of all time, if you like criminals. He was a mob boss, the likes of which Scarface, they call him. And he got indicted once. I got indicted 4 times. I wonder what my father and mother would say looking down.
We had a lot. We almost have to go to a break. I want to go back to this one issue, though, because the media has been focused on this and attacking you. Under no circumstances, you are promising America tonight you would never abuse power as retribution against anybody.
Except for day one.
Except
Look,
what?
he's going crazy. Except for day one.
Meaning?
I want to close the border and I want to drill.
That's not retribution. I'm
gonna be, you know, he keeps, we love this guy. He says, you're not gonna be a dictator, are you? I said, no, other than day one. We're closing the border and we're drilling. After that, I'm not a dictator,
so that sounds to me like you're going back to the policies when you were president. All right,
exactly.
Take a break, just getting started.
So he's not actually saying no. As a matter of fact, he's saying I would be for one day. Now, do you trust him to just do it for one day and in 24 hours he stops? Also, are you okay with someone being a dictator for one day? I sure as hell ain't. I don't care what side of the political aisle they're on. I'm not for anyone being dictator for a day. Do you realize just how dangerous that could be? Now, on a daily basis, I have people say to me, Brandon, you're just throwing out a bunch of hyperbole, man. You're getting people all worked up. You're starting to sound like a conspiracy theorist. I even had one guy go so far as to say, you're starting to sound like Alex Jones pushing all this shit, man. We don't want a dictator. I don't know where you're coming up with these ideas. Well, I'm coming up with these ideas from what I hear Donald Trump say out of his own mouth. I'm coming up with these ideas when I go and read Agenda 47. I'm coming up with these ideas as I read Project 2025. This isn't something that I'm pulling from some liberal website. This isn't something that some liberal website is telling me to repeat. I'm listening to what it is that Donald Trump, MAGA Republicans, Agenda 47, and Project 2025 have to say. And then I hear him get asked point blank, do you intend to be a dictator? Just on day one, I do. And I'm supposed to feel comfortable with that. I'm supposed to be okay. You know, let's say for a minute that Donald Trump was right. And let's say that they were unfairly prosecuting him. They're not, by the way. Let me say this first so there's no confusion. Donald Trump is being held accountable for things that we saw him do and things that we have heard him admit to on audio. And yet we get told on a daily basis, you really didn't see what you think you saw, and you really didn't hear what you think you heard. Donald Trump is being held accountable. This isn't a witch hunt. This isn't Joe Biden trying to weaponize the government against him. This is him being held accountable for what he has done. But let's just say, for the sake of the argument, that Donald Trump was being unfairly persecuted. Let's say that Joe Biden really was truly going after him and trying to lock up a political opponent. To get back in power and do it to Joe Biden or do it to Democrats does not make it right. 2 wrongs does not make a right. What Donald Trump should have said is no. At no point do I intend to ever be a dictator. I would never be a dictator in this country because I believe in American democracy and because I stand on the side of American democracy. I want another 4 years to do better than Joe Biden could have done. And when those 4 years is up, I want there to be a free and fair election where a Republican runs against a Democrat and the American people decides if Republicans should stay in power or not. That's the right answer. Not, well, yeah, I would like to be dictator for a day and hey, they did it to me. They did it to me is no excuse to do it to them, even if they did do it to you. How many of you's mama has said to you growing up, you can't do that just because they did it to you? That's something we learn at a very young age. Donald Trump is being held accountable. And he's a rich, spoiled brat billionaire that has never been held accountable before, and that's why he's lashing out as hard as he is. That's why he's fighting back so hard. And that's why that a second Donald Trump term would be nothing more than a revenge term. He would do nothing but go after his political opponents because they did it to him. And if this is a guy that wouldn't concede an election, if this is a guy that wouldn't admit to defeat, what makes you think that he would stop being dictator after one day? If he was dictator for one day, do you think he would just stop right there? Or do you think he would become so power hungry that we would never have a chance to vote again? Let me tell you something. Joe Biden is not my favorite president. Joe Biden is not perfect. Joe Biden has made mistakes. Joe Biden won't be perfect in a second term either, and Joe Biden will make mistakes in the second term as well. But I feel like that if I cast my vote for Joe Biden, that I'll live to vote another day. That I will have a chance at other options later, and I will be able to cast my vote at another time. I feel like if I vote for Donald Trump, I may never get that opportunity again. And before anyone says, oh, now that's just hyperbole, I'm pulling straight from what Donald Trump is saying, what Agenda 47 is saying. Listen to your own guy talk. Listen to what his plans are. And if those aren't deal breakers for you, then stop saying I'm the one buying into conspiracy theories. But be sure to keep hitting that subscribe button here on MeidasTouch and get these videos out there to people because we're cruising towards 2 million subscribers, and I'm sure we're going to get there really soon with your help. Always remember that here at MeidasTouch, we stand on the side of truth. We stand on the side of democracy. And we don't believe that anyone should be a dictator even for one day. So until next time, I'm Tennessee Brando. You guys keep tuning in. We'll keep telling you the truth.
Hey Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.